Welcome to the Trades Podcast, a podcast about the business of home improvement and promoting the trades to young adults. In this podcast, we talk with business owners, educators, and professionals about the benefits, skills, and related experiences of the home improvement business. Tips to help you with being successful from entry into the trades or established business owners. In this podcast, we hope to influence some young adults that the trades as a career is a great option leading to full and prosperous life. I'm Danny Torres, an MC, DJ, and podcaster, inspiring young adults by shining light onto career opportunities in our world today.
And I'm Jeff Mudd, home improvement contractor, writer of the Millionaire Carpenter series, and podcaster.
Stay tuned to 15 to 20 minutes of insightful tips.
All right, Jeff Mudd here with the Trades Podcast. We are in the field, Tucson, Arizona. No, it is not hot. It is extremely hot, but we're surviving and have a good time. Got to do a little tour of Ideal Institute with Clay Abernathy, and we are now going to dive in a little deeper to how this school works. Clay, why don't you start off telling us a little bit about the training center, Ideal Institute, and how you got started.
Sounds great. Well, I appreciate you coming out and visiting us and talking about our school. We think it's fantastic, the best thing that is. And it is a trade school where we're training the next generation of craftsmen, and we do that by building tiny homes and modular homes over and over and over again. So a class of 10 to 15 students will build 25 modules or 25 tiny homes in 6 months. We do it by allowing them to do it debt-free, and when they get done, they end up with $2,000 worth of tools after 6 months. So no cost to them except for a registration fee to make sure that they have some skin in the game. And in the next 5 years, our goal is to get $122 million worth of tools in the next generation.
That's incredible numbers right there. The way you set up the skin in the game for the students, I thought that was a great balance between, if you're interested, it's going to cost you a little bit to play to learn, but what they come out of that with is the chance to move into a decent paying, if not a high paying career. Some great self-esteem. I could see that in some of the students walking around earlier today. And debt-free, no student loan debt. That's incredible, Clay.
That's correct. You want to start a generation off right by not having to worry about debt. We teach them about finances and how to do it right, create income, make that income work for you. And in the next 3 to 5 years, trades is already 20% higher pay than any other industry across the board. But in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be much higher than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my purpose in the Trades Podcast is learning more about the trades, how to get into it, the training centers that are out there, opportunities. And in the learning process that I took on, I've learned, one, you're not going to outsource this.
Right.
There's no way you're outsourcing the skills to have a technician come to your house and fix it.
Right.
You're not rebuilding existing buildings with robotics.
Yeah.
So there's definitely room for growth in technology, but it's still a hands-on job that takes somebody with some skills and passion and experience and training to complete the job for you. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. In fact, who builds the robots?
People that have been trained,
right?
Not necessarily a college education. And that's one thing of the Trades Podcast. We are not slamming college education. This country needs high-end, college-educated people to do a lot of different things in this country.
Yes.
But if you don't know what you're going to do when you're graduating high school, wouldn't it be a lot better to come out with a short training program, using your hands, get some self-esteem, do your 40 hours or a little bit of overtime, and you're earning some money, buying some toys, living your life. And when you really figure out what you want to do,
right,
then you can go back to college and you'll actually learn better. There's studies out there that show people in their mid-20s to early 30s learn the best.
Well, there's actually a scientific reason for that, is that if you don't have anything to associate information to when you're doing it either visually, verbally, then you don't retain it. It doesn't get into your long-term memory. So after you've had experiences that you've either, and there's three things: taste, touch, and smell. Those go automatically into your long-term memory. So without a lot of those experiences of taste, touch, and smell, the classroom time doesn't actually do anything for you. So the reason that those studies that you're bringing up are better, or why people do better in their 20s, is because they've gone out, taste, touched, and smelled,
experience things.
So now you can actually do the visual and the verbal, the reading and writing, and then it actually takes. And that's why our school is so important, is we're creating a basis of learning. We're not just teaching the trades, we're teaching a basis of learning. So if you want to be a better doctor, you want to be a better lawyer, everyone should go through our program, not just because we need tradespeople. They'll probably make more money if they go into the trades anyways, but for that basis of learning also.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that I was lucky enough to experience in junior high and into high school was shop class. Got to build things.
Right.
You know, what I learned in shop class did not prepare me for a job as a carpenter or home improvements, but it gave me a basis for how to learn.
Right.
So
and
you're absolutely right.
And the college degree isn't what it used to be. It used to be, because we were doing things at home more, we were fixing our own homes, but we, in this next generation, we've had the ability to not have to do that. And so a college degree becomes a little bit more difficult because we don't have those tactile things that we've learned to associate a classroom style to.
Absolutely. I mean, you bring up a small point there about we don't fix things anymore. It's easier to go down to the box store and buy a replacement than figure out how to fix it and use your mind and little resources. I always thought my dad was nuts fixing that washing machine over and over and over, you know. But now that I've grown up, I understand why a lot more.
That's exactly right, and it's important that we do that with our kids and the next generation. And that's what we're doing. We're bringing that back, and we found a very neat way to do it that is enticing to all generations. I mean, that's the cool thing about our schools. We've got a 16-year-old a guy in there, a 17-year-old single mom, and we got a 79-year-old man in our class.
That's incredible. It really is. Yeah, walking through the building today, I guess the ambiance or the air of the students in there was very upbeat, you know. If it wasn't a safety issue, I'm sure the high fives would have been a little bit better with but when you got a hammer in your hand or tools in your hand, not quite as safe.
I try to get as many as I can still.
Yeah. But speaking of safety, how did the safety program work into your school?
Yeah, so when they first come, we do something probably not as safe as it could be. I didn't tell you this, but so the day one we get them building. So you saw those benches throughout the school.
I did.
On day one, those are built by our students. We blindfold one, and then we mute one, and then we put earmuffs so they can't hear. So they're partners of three, and they build those benches while they're missing one of their senses. And then we rotate, so they know what it's like to be blind and what it's like to be deaf and what it's like to be mute while building. And what they learn is that, that some people, even though they can see, really can't see. And what it's like to communicate differently after that. So then after that, we introduce our safety program too, before we do kind of the crazy thing.
Awesome. So that is a team building exercise that's totally in line with what the school does.
Correct. And then we do 2 full days of OSHA training, and they get their cards, their OSHA cards. It's an OSHA 10 card. And then by day 4, they start building the module. For very first one, laying out and squaring it out and getting the glue lambs laid out for the foundation.
Yeah, and one of the things you talked about when we were walking around was how close all the modules are together, and you're trying to make that real life for them. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So you've got different kinds of memory, but it's your spatial memory, your cycles, your brain that you were in. And so you're like, what I'm getting old is what we normally say. I'm so old. What
did I come in here for?
Yeah, I can't even remember. It's actually healthy memory. And so what we do is we create a basis that makes their brain or makes your brain change every time you go around a corner. So we keep the modules close together. In return, what that does is that helps their brain continually work on new ideas. And we do that for safety also. You don't want to get to a job site and not know what it's like to to turn a corner with a 20-foot beam. You want to be paying attention to those things. We really make it fairly difficult for the students in the school because we want them to get out in the real world and go, well, this is much easier than it was in school.
Yeah, the real life experience sometimes turns out to be a lot easier than what you learned.
Right.
But they're prepared for the hard ones that pop up for them.
Correct. Yeah, so we teach the highest standard possible in the school on every aspect. So when our builds come out, they're higher standard than what most people are doing out there, because we want them to know this is the top. After there, whoever you work for, you go with what they tell you, but this is the way that we do it here.
So walking through, I started with my fingers, and you didn't catch this, but I lost count. How many trades do you think a student is exposed to in your 6-month training program?
We also have finance and accounting in there, and scheduling, and windows, doors. They're actually right behind you, so I'm actually going to just read them off. Framing, general construction, plumbing, electrical, roof. We do welding. We do finishing touches, floors, architect and drafting, windows and doors, financing, accounting, scheduling. And we're also looking at introducing solar into the program too. So,
fantastic!
Over 10 to 13 trades in all of it.
Yeah, and I think I asked you while we were walking around a little bit about the soft skills, so you get some finance stuff in there. What's the finance part?
It's short, and I'll make it simple for you. Is spend less money than you make, and the extra that you have it work for you. I mean, those are really our skills.
There's some people that are in their 50s thinking, I wish I would have learned that in my 20s.
Right, and that's really, financially, that it's simple. We try to teach the simple things. Keep it simple, stupid. That's that KISS thing. But
absolutely,
really, all crap runs downhill. That's welcome to plumbing. If you have electric in one spot and not another, there's a break in your electric. Real simple terms so they can just remember them over and over again.
Okay, the soft skills. You guys talk about how to fill out a resume, or do you have a resume?
Yeah,
helping with them, or
so we help place them afterwards, and so that a lot of where people are really excited about our program is that they can contractors and out there can come and recruit our students. They talk to us, and then we help place them. We go over a little bit of a resume writing. That's towards the end. Right at the end, we do that, and then we're teaching a lot of people skills. What it's like to work with one another.
You gave an example of forcing the kids or students to be in a close proximity, and you got to learn to get along.
That's right. Yes.
So that's real life exposure right there. And one of the things I noticed walking through the place, none of them had cell phones.
Yeah, no cell phones
allowed.
allowed.
Pockets, anyways.
No, none of them are allowed. In fact, we have a strike program, a safety violation, and having a cell phone on a job is a 100% safety violation. There's nothing worse than not knowing your environment. So if we see one, that's a strike, and you get so many strikes, you're out of the program. And so. And it's actually really good for us to have a little detox for 4 to 5 to 8 hours a day, and so that's why you didn't see any. Good eyesight on that.
Yeah. There's a few things I noticed walking around there. That's a really good way to start off with. I mean, in the home improvement world that I've been in, we've built a lot of decks, and the phone was a great resource for finding materials, sourcing things. Apps for span calculators. There's definitely a lot of uses for phones, but talking with your girlfriend and playing on Instagram, social media, that's not one of them.
That's right, and they're a phenomenal tool in the right place in the right time.
Yes. And
we don't really have any need for them in our school, and so they can use them in the field when they get out. But they also understand how to control it a little bit better. And even myself, I have trouble controlling my own phone.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a great tool, and we get addicted to them. Yeah. But one of the things I also noticed are, since they didn't have phones, comparing it to some of the carpenters that I've had in the past, they always like to take pictures of their work. Mm-hmm. You guys give them a little picture portfolio when you're done?
Yeah. So
I hate to put you on the spot on that one, Clay.
Yeah. So no. So we actually, you got to meet Edgar. Edgar is he is our full-time videographer that comes through, and so every day we post a YouTube video, and so our students get to see their progress. And the great thing about that is they also get to, not only the students get to see it, but people who want to recruit our students to work for them, they can follow them. So we again don't allow them at any time in there, but we document it for them.
Love it.
In a different way.
Yeah, and probably the quality of what Edgar's doing is way better than their cell phone techniques.
Yeah, and in all honesty, we do allow every once in a while for them to get in and do it. Not as much in this class. This class is the last class. We've been more careful. We try to keep them focused a little bit better.
Okay, and the concept, kind of switching gears, Clay, the concept that you came up with here for getting the students in, give them training, get them out. They're paying for their training by building small homes, their tiny homes. You started off the beginning of this year?
Well, so I've been in business since 2005, originally. But this concept, I've owned Ideal. The parent company is Ideal Marketing, okay. But Ideal Institute was a spawn of continually trying to get it right. We used to do apprenticeship programs, internship programs, work programs, but we changed to this program in January.
Took it to the next level. So you've got a huge square footage footprint, nice busy street corner there.
Yes.
When I came down and the well-painted, very visible building, tiny house right out front. If you don't see that, you're in a 10-year in the future car where you don't have to be driving.
Yeah, you shouldn't be driving if you can't see us. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I was shut off the directions right there at the light. Sat out in the parking lot and watched some of the comings and going for a little while. Greeted by a couple of very nice young ladies. So the experience overall has been fantastic.
Well, appreciate that.
And I think what I've seen with the students and stuff is absolutely you're changing the world right there. You call it moving mountains.
Moving mountains.
That's it, man. The progression though from getting it right now, starting the first of the year, you're going to go into new locations.
Yeah. So we have plans in the next by 2026, 512 locations throughout the United States. Which sounds crazy. I know that's a gigantic number. It takes us from 13 students to 50,000 students across the nation. When I say that, people normally lose. I lose them. They're like, Clay, that's a feat that just can't be done. But when I tell you that right now we need 1 million construction workers to enter the trades today, we will need 2 million by 2020, by the end of 2023, and that's across the nation. We have the largest retiring class of craftsmen the world has ever seen.
Yep, all the baby boomers are just itching to get out.
That's correct, and they hold the world's knowledge in this, and it hasn't been transferred. And so by 2026, if the multiplication still continues the way that it is, we will be in dire needs. So when I tell you if it's still 2 million, which I believe it'll probably be double that or quadruple that, 50,000 students is not enough. And that's where it becomes difficult. But we will most likely be in almost every state by 2026, trying to help the crisis that's on its way.
Well, that's pretty aggressive planning, but if you stick to it, and there's a need out there, that's for sure.
Yep.
You'll hit your goal. So the world will be better off if you do.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. So when the students graduate, you've got a pretty high job placement.
100%.
No. What is the job placement?
Well, yeah. So we placed 100% of our students.
Every student got a job.
Everyone that wanted one got a job. We've got people in there that don't need a job. They're coming because they realize how difficult not knowing this is. So everyone that wanted a job placed a job, making over $50,000 a year.
That's incredible numbers right there.
And we graduated 100% of our students too.
Very good. So nobody got in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and decided, you know what, this ain't for me. I don't care what about the student loans.
Yes, nobody did that. And the reason is because the quit rate happens right when they finish their first build. And so people want to quit. That's tough. I mean, if you've been in the trades, you know how tough it is to do everything over and over and over again. But as you start getting closer, you start to get more confident and more exciting. And you're like, I cannot believe that I built this. And you start to feel really good about it. And then the next thing that happens is you finish. And you're like, well, shoot, I can do anything now. I can finish this program.
How fast can I do it?
That's exactly right.
How can I do it better? How can I make the teacher and yet show up the other students? Yeah, there's a lot of different aspects that go into it. So the first build, how long does that take a student to get through?
So it takes them longer than it should. A master craftsman could build it in about 13 to 14 days. Two master craftsmen. It takes our students about 40 to 45 working days. But that's still pretty impressive when you think of our students as very little to no experience, that they can build that first one in 40 to 45 days.
So they start off some orientation, safety training. By the end of the first week, they're swinging a hammer, building stuff.
Yes.
Starting with the framework, and they're ending a month later with final touches and paint on the building, and you guys are moving it out for the public to purchase.
That's correct. And one of the interesting things is that they have to build that first one with a hammer. So very few nail guns get used in that first build.
I love that. I've like I said, I've built a lot of decks at my company in the past, and I hate them damn nail guns.
Right. You gotta know how.
Old skill.
Yeah, you gotta know how to use a hammer. It's super important, And in fact, when we introduced the nail gun, some were like, "I like the hammer better," and just what you said.
Yeah, it's old skill. I don't know about the touch. It's in your hand. The control, the ergonomics of it. It just brings you back to nature almost.
Right. As soon as you can feel your arm after, the students, they're dying after the first couple of weeks, but they get it.
I'm sure, but it's just like you go camping for the first time, and you build your own fire for the first time.
Yep.
It's the same sense of accomplishment.
100%.
Out there
exactly.
in nature. So you're putting out a lot of these tiny homes. You guys have multiple designs and modules, options for them.
Yep.
What do you guys do with them?
So then we sell them. We sell them off to the public. We started taking orders July 11th. So we actually didn't take any orders for the first class because we were so busy making sure we got the class done. But July 11th to now, we've sold about $6.3 million worth of modules to get in the public's hands, which is great because that goes back into the school, makes it better, and that is how we will continue to go nationwide.
Awesome. Yeah, one of the things I was noticing walking around, there's a stack of ladders there.
Yeah.
They all matched. They all looked in good shape.
Yes.
Not piecemeal together. Okay, we need a bigger ladder. We need a smaller ladder.
Right.
As you guys have learned what's needed, what's appropriate, and scaled it.
Right. We try to teach our students if you're working in this day and age, if you're working too hard, you probably have the wrong tool. Back in the day, you had to kind of make do, but the tool companies have done such a great job at getting you the right tool in your hands. So we teach them, have the right tool, and then it's not as hard.
Awesome. So you guys are scaling up to sell over $6 million worth of those things already. All the money's going back into the school system. Right now, you're investing in your growth. The kids are 100% graduation rate. These are all incredible stats, Clay. Super impressive. If anybody understands what you're doing right now, those numbers are great numbers.
Yeah.
What are some of the hurdles you're going to have reaching your big goals coming up?
Supply chain's been fun, but that's a work problem. That's a workforce problem. The reason we have supply chain problems is because manufacturers don't have good labor. The craftsmen, we're already seeing the detriment of craftsmen not being in the workforce, and so that's definitely one. We a big company here in Tucson and throughout actually quite a ways. Johnson Manley, they're a huge a lumber supplier, and they just invested with us and helping with our supply chain and getting that going. And a lot of it is just getting the word out, and getting the talk and hope. We've been beating up craftsmen for 50 years. We've been saying, if you can't make it to college, you'll never do anything. Be a plumber.
Yeah, settle for a blue collar job.
Right.
Go into the service. That's been the negative connotation of being in the trades for a long time.
And so we're fighting society. We're saying, look, I'm sorry, the most important person is the framer, and the electrician, and the carpenter, and the plumber, and all of these people. And that's part of our biggest hurdle but the nice thing is that our market now recognizes that the people who built America with their hands are the vital people in America. You don't have plumbing in your house, it doesn't matter what's wrong with you. You need that plumber.
Absolutely. I mean, you can be the 6-year degree doctor, done your intern for another 4 years, and you still need that plumber when the toilet clogs up.
That's right. The plumbers save more lives than anybody else out there.
Yeah.
Indoor plumbing essentially stops infectious disease.
Yeah, and I'm really working with a financial guy to put out some more financial stats. But what we're seeing already, if you're coming out of high school and move into a 6-month program like yours, graduate debt-free, move into a job, capitalize on some simple 401k or company retirement accounts, you can be better off in your 40s than somebody that did the 4 or 5 years of college.
Well,
that took in
100%.
Took in all that financial debt.
Yeah, I can give you an easy statistic. You don't have to have a financial guy tell you. The average person who goes to college is in debt till they're 40. That's the average debt range. So anybody who enters college, they're in debt till they're 40 on average. And anybody who enters the trades in a program like mine, well, I can tell you debt ratio, they don't have any debt. And within 6 months, they're making as much as a 4-year degree. And we're going to continue to see those numbers go up and up and up, because what the world is now realizing is that the technology is built on the people who know how to craft that with their hands. The buildings, the infrastructure, those are craftsmen. The rest of the stuff doesn't work without us.
Absolutely. So I've had an engineer on this show, and he's always looking for college degree engineers, but he found the better ones are the guys that have swung the hammer, dug the ditch, got some experience underneath their belts before they decided what they wanted to do and go back to college to advance their career.
Correct.
So
and we know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they do so much better at the job when they have the basis for what they're doing underneath the belts.
Yep.
Awesome. Great doing the tour with you earlier today, Clay. You've got some fantastic information out here. Anything else you want to tell us about it?
That's it. Take a look at the Trades Podcast. Thanks for having us, and we appreciate it. And one of the things that I will put out there is that we are accepting investors. We have a small investor pool. So if someone's listening to this or any of the other things that we have going, we are accepting a limited amount of investors to take us to the next level. And in about 2 years after that, we will open that up even bigger pool. So
I understand. So if there's any students here in the Tucson area or somebody that's really liking what they're seeing and want to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so Tucson, we'll be in. We're licensed already in Utah and Texas and Florida. So by July of next year, if you're interested in our program, just pay attention. It'll be in a city near you really quickly.
What would you contact information want to leave our listeners?
Yeah, you can go to idealtrade.institute and look us up. Look us up there.
Fantastic. Really appreciate your time and the tour I got today, Clay. It's an awesome concept you've got going. Couldn't be more proud of a partner in the trades and industry that you've created here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, Jeff. Appreciate it.